Alright, yeah, no. So minimum wage is literally supposed to be a comfortable living salary for you to survive on. Um, Back in 1938, when in the Fair Labor Standards Act, which is where the minimum wage was established by FDR, it was during the Great Depression. This is when a good third of Americans were having difficulty surviving. Um, the the ruling class have always been howling and complaining the same way, as Roosevelt had said um, in a fireside chat with everybody at the time. Do not let any calamity howling executive with an income of $1,000 a day tell you that a wage of 11 a week is going to have a disastrous effect on the all of American industry. That is the same shit that they say now when we go and ask for higher minimum wage. They are expecting us to uh, just accept what they're saying and make no mind of it. Like that is they say that if they have to increase their wages, they will then have to do labor cuts and so on and so forth. They've always said this. This is how it's always literally been. Um, if you do the comparison, $11 a week would be the same buying power as $244 now. That's not even 244.4 divided by 40 hours. So if we're working off that thing, that's saying that our effective minimum wage compared to it is we're getting paid around 6.11 an hour for that 40-hour work week. That does not work. Like we have 11 a week, and then we have wait that 11 a week. 11 divided by 44. That's how you get under your 25 cents an hour. So we should actually be taking this into account for a 244.4 divided by 44-hour work week comparative. So each of those hours that we're earning in the modern day, if we were having that comparative minimum wage, would be fucking terrible pay. This is not a livable pay. This is not even remotely livable. We're going back to the point where um, words. We're going back to the point where there are people who have to be doing two doing two jobs to survive. There's people who have a job and substantial help, so on and so forth. And like this is normal now. Just to be able to have any sort of expectation to be able to live, especially in certain parts of the U.S. This is insane. I don't know else to put it. The whole point of this stuff was to prevent child labor, which we can see here. We can see that child labor uh, laws being rolled back. There's been there's been states that have been fucking rolling back different child labor laws, trying to get more fucking children to the labor force, trying to violate labor laws, so on and so forth. This was the whole reason that the minimum wage was supposed to be in place. This was to make it so that they don't have to. They People say this is tied in just in the whole web of bullshit that goes on, such as saying immigrants are taking our jobs. They are not. They especially especially the ones that everybody likes to get mad about, saying illegal immigrants are taking your jobs. No, they aren't. They're keeping your produce theoretically lower because they are not being paid even at minimum wage. Because they have no bargaining power. Secondly, those are jobs that no natural born American wants to do. And along with so much other. The next probably at least couple years are going to be horrifying for the average citizen. Tariffs are the most common type of tariff. The tariffs that Trump talks about is a tax imposed by the government on imports or exports. So in this case, it's any imports that are coming to the country. He has been looking to put imports on Canada and Mexico for food coming in, which are on Mexico, China, and Canada are three of the ones that he's looking to put tariffs on the most. This will cause food prices to go up drastically, especially because Mexico and Canada are our closest trading partners, and they have and they're the ones who send the most produce into our country. Imports, food, U.S. Stats. Top 10 food imports by origin country. So let's look at this graphic. So we import a ton of tomatoes from Mexico, avocados from Mexico, peppers, strawberries, berries, fucking all this. We are importing a fuck ton of produce from Mexico. We import other produce from Canada. Our greatest words are hard. The lots of cereal grains. Uh, we have several types of seafood that we tend to trade a lot with. Certain cuts of meat we have a lot of imports on. We have like Mexico and Canada, and then sugar and sugar type stuff. Mexico, Canada. U.S. closest, not allies, trading partners. List of the largest trading partners. Canada is our greatest trading partner, then Mexico, and then China. He wants to put tariffs on our three biggest imports. Those imports are not being paid by those countries. Those are being paid by the companies who are importing them to the U.S. to sell or to be made with, etc. This companies don't pocket that loss. You know that no company would ever do that. They pass that on to consumers, and if we're lucky, we're just doing it at the cost of the import increase from them. But in all reality, they will likely quote unquote future proof it and then gouge out the prices a bit higher. So if eggs are $4 right now, they will, and we have a 25% tariff on the stuff, which is effectively 25% tax. That means that at minimum we can be expecting them to jump up to around $5. And that's assuming that the companies are not throwing an additional cost inflation, cost gouging, increasing the prices beyond what they need to for gouging the prices to gain more profit. Um, and that's even as they continue to do stuff um, such as shrinkflation and such, where companies tend to take something and shrink it down or change the size of the way stuff is shown to make it seem like they're not noticeably, generally not super noticeable, but you're buying things for the same price, but you're getting less product. An example of this would have been Gatorade old bottle. Um, Fuck, where's it? When I was younger, this was the standard for like I think it was the 30. It'd be something like this. That'd be like the um bigger 32-ounce ones. 32 ounce. This one. They used to be sold in that sort of container. But now they went and then redid the design, saying, "Oh yeah, they're slicker and easier to grip." Which then they switched to this hourglass shape. They continue to sell them at the same price, but you would find them the 32 ounces suddenly now at 28 ounces, selling at the same price. That is removing a fucking eighth of the product while you're paying the same price. There's no significant change in cost for making it because beverage companies make a fucking steal on their stuff. They make their beverages for pennies on the dollar, at most a dime or two on the dollar, and the biggest cost is in you know uh, the bottles, the product to make the bottles, so the plastic. So, they're slimming down the things so they pay less for the plastic. You're paying more, and they're putting less product in it for you. The how do I put it? Like the way the media and the press and so on uh, focus on things is explicitly to distract us. That's the whole reason that the culture wars and everything happen. That's the whole reason that they are pitting uh, Republicans against trans people. They are focusing on all the culture war issues they can so that you are not looking at all the ways that the companies and ruling class are fucking us over hand over fist. Like, I don't know what. And ultimately, to have systematic change, there needs to be a ground up level. We, you are not going to change politics and how to fix a system without working from the ground up and working on local levels. And that's hard work, but that's what you need to do because you cannot rely on the existing establishment to change itself. You cannot expect the existing establishment to encourage change. We saw this with just in general whenever younger progressive Democrats in the party try to lead the party, they keep getting snubbed time after time, such as AOC and so on. You need to work on local levels because that's where your voice is heard the most. And there's never going to be a third party or anything like that unless you work unless they are built up from the ground up. There will never be a time where a third party is just going to come in and just sweep the presidential level, or even just on the fucking Senate level. You need to do local things first, and then work up to probably getting them into state levels. So not like federal Congress or Senate, but like state Senate, state Congress. You need to get third parties into those seats, and then you might be able to start getting some in the regions to Congress, such as into um, the House of Representatives, and then maybe the Senate. But you are not going to get a third party to work just in the major elections. But that's all I fucking have today. Fuck.